Welcome to Kimmies World, and we have a special guest today. We have Tawana G. I'm gonna add her to the stage. How you doing, Tawana G?
Hey, what's up, girl?
So we are here today. Let me go ahead and cut this music. We are here today to talk about a subject that is near and dear to both of our hearts. The name of this particular segment is called "We Fail Chantel Freeman." Now, many of us have been watching the viral videos that have been going around, whether it is Breakbeat Media or whether it is Tasha K, along with Tasha K. Now, there's been a lot of people in the comment area wondering if it's true, saying that I'm biased, and I'm pretty sure what have they been saying on your platform, Tawana?
What is the name of what?
What have been your subscribers and followers' reaction on your particular platform?
Calling me liars and saying she a lie. I mean, it's been kind of nice. Some of the people have been very supportive. It's been very split. Some people are very supportive. Some people don't feel like it's enough information for me to make a side, pick a side. And some people have been very fair about, so yeah, it's mixed. It's mixed.
So that's why we are where we are today. We have y'all get ready. Listen, if you need to stop and get you some coffee, some water, a snack, this is not going to be the live program that is going to last 10-15 minutes. We have a 56-page document that we are going to try to get done in an hour. If it goes past an hour, then we're going to have a part two. Or we're going to have a part two anyway. But let me do one particular housekeeping, and I'm going to try to go live on TikTok, y'all. Because a lot of people want to know what is going on. Okay, let me see if I can go live. I don't know if I can. And I don't. Oh, shoot. All right, well, we're just going to proceed on. Am I sharing my screen? No. So, honey, I do not know how to go live on TikTok, but we just keep it doing what it's doing. Anyway, so we have a particular 56-page document from the state of Florida. Some of the items in this particular document is very sensitive, but it is what it is. Shout out to Chantel Freeman, who actually provided this document for us to go over with you all. Now, if you have been following this particular story, you know that Tasha K has released a 2-minute teaser on yesterday. How many of y'all have watched it? If you haven't, you'll know about the end of this video. But anyway, she released a 2-minute teaser. The teaser was Chantel Freeman's older sister, which she talked about in her story with Breakbeat. And also her father, Clarence Freeman, is in the 2-minute teaser. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the teaser as we run through this 56-page document. Excuse me. Now, what I would like for you guys to do, we are trying to get Tawana G to 1,000 subscribers. Like, y'all help me get there. I need my followers to hop on over to her page. Go ahead and subscribe to her channel. And then we can come on back. Somebody said a Saturday stream. That must be one of your
and chaos. He like, what you doing? Okay, I'll still go live tomorrow. Thank you so much for supporting me. I want you to hear this. This is very important information.
So we have shout out to our moms that are in the building. We have Simply Travel with Me. How you doing? We have Danielle. She's in the building. What's up, Allison? How are you doing? Texas represent. She said, hey, Kimmy and Tawana and chat. Peace and blessings. We have Allison. I said that. And she said, Kimmy, you need to move back a little from the mic. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're telling me that. Because y'all know this mic be doing the business. Let me know if the mic is messing up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll let you know. I don't hear anything, but moving back is good. Like it's aesthetics, not more so like for the sound.
Okay. Okay. So she said, okay, Texas representative sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. I don't know no other way to move rather than to just get no, that's the wrong thing. Let me go here and I'm going to pull up the document. Go present. Okay. So can everyone see the screen? I'm going to start and then I will let Tawana pick it up. Okay. So as you can see, it says adult. It says Lakeland Police Department. Now this is where the alleged allegations took place. It says that it took place in the Circuit County Court in the 10th Judicial Court in and for Polk County, Florida. You can go on. The undersigned blank swears that he or she has just and reasonable grounds to believe that on. Now, I want you to remember these dates. If you have a pen or a pencil, I advise you to make notations because this will come back up again. The date is from February the 10th, 2002 through April the 21st, 2003. Now, it says that at approximately 12 a.m., Clarence Freeman, and it lists his address. We're going to keep going. And the charges were, well, not charges. The committed offenses were capital sexual battery, 2 counts, lewd molestation, and incest. See probable cause continuation. The victim name was Chantel Freeman, and we're going to get into it. Okay. Remember these dates. Remember, get your notepad ready. On August the 6th, 2003, I can't pronounce that word, received a report from the Department of Children and Families in reference to the allegations of sexual abuse of an 8-year-old victim, Chantel Freeman, by her biological father, Clarence Freeman. Chantel was then interviewed by blank at the Children's Advocacy Center in Bartow. Chantel was able to tell the difference between the truth and a lie. Chantel promised to tell the truth. Chantel reported her father, defendant Freeman, let her suck his private. Hold on. Before I move forward, let me hit this disclaimer. I almost forgot.
Mm-hmm. Warn the people, Kimmy.
We are talking about this under the Fair Use Act, Section 107. Let me run that one more time. Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allows is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that may otherwise be infringing. I'm going to run this banner on the bottom of the screen as well. And if you have children in the room with you, this is a trigger warning for you. Please remove your children. There are sensitive topics that we will discuss. Let's move forward. Okay. All right, where was I? Chantel knew the difference between the truth and a lie. Chantel promised to tell the truth. Chantel reported her father, defendant Freeman, let her suck his private and put his private in her private at age 7 while living in West Palm Beach, Florida. Chantel reported at 8 years of age while defendant Freeman located at. He again let her suck his private. He put his private in her private and rubbed her private on her inside upper leg. Victim Chantel reported defendant Freeman would blindfold Chantel during these incidents. Victim Chantel reported no one laid on her. Listen to this. Victim Chantel reported no one laid on her before her dad or after her dad, stating only my dad did. Victim Chantel was medically examined by the nurse practitioner Connie Fleming at Children Advocacy Center. The conclusions of the medical exam indicated that the physical findings were consistent with the history of sexual abuse given by Chantel. Chantel was diagnosed with a sexually transmitted disease on 11/10/2003. They spoke with defendant's wife, reported she had been examined and diagnosed with, and stating she contracted them from defendant. Affiant attempted to speak with defendant Freeman. Defendant Freeman, incarcerated at Polk County Jail, and advised per his attorney's instructions, did not wish to speak with me. And it goes on. This is just a sheet listing who worked on this case and the cost, hours, all that. And we're going to keep moving. This is just the victims that was actually listed in this particular court document. There's information that is blotted out because they were minors at the times and they are victims. Okay, would you like to talk about what we just went over right here? Should we bring out any key points?
Yes, and I want to say that because I see a few of my followers in here, and I don't know if you guys know the backstory to the Chantel Freeman case, but there is some allegations that she was molested by her father and other family members. Hey, Blaze, how are you? And so I wanted to make sure that you understand why this story resonated with me, because everybody knows how much I cannot stand a pedo. Okay, I do not play that. So I have been supporting Chantel Freeman, and I want you to know, and Kimmy, she read a lot, but Kimmy, in one part of this, that what you said, right, about, what was it about her? Dang, I lost it, and I can't see, because I can't see. I need to pull it up on my thing. You muted, Kim. You muted. We can't hear you.
Can y'all hear me now? Yeah, you hear
yes.
me.
Oh, that blindfold part. Now you know why that's important. I want you, because I feel like you know exactly why that's important. I don't know if you can speak on it. I know you can't say specific names because we already agreed to that, but speak on how that was brought up in a previous incident and the fact that it's being said, that connection. And she was 8 years old when she reported this. It seems to be a very key point in this allegation. And it also kind of helps me to understand what happened to her and why he repeated these same things, in this abuse. So yeah, it's a lot of key things in this paragraph that you just said.
Now, when it comes to the blindfold, for those of you all who have been following Kimmies World and have watched the video Surviving Clarence, and I just want to interject some pieces of evidence that were spoke about with Chantel.
Can you blow it up a little? They say it's small. Do you think you can make it bigger?
Let me see. Yeah, I definitely can.
You can make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Yes, that blindfold, exactly. That blindfold is very relevant. And I think that Kimmy kind of pointed it out in a previous video she made.
Can you see it?
I can see it better. Can you guys see it better? Yeah. I really want them to be able to read it. Yeah. Ooh, I know. There's some stuff on there. Maybe we'll.
That's the best time I can remove us.
Kimmy, I can't hear you. We can't hear you. We have to be on stage. I can't hear. Yeah, I couldn't hear anything you said.
So, like I was saying, you're gonna have to go back and watch the surviving Clarence. When I posted the receipts, I can't post all the receipts and go through this at the same time. It is too long. But if you remember, Clarence allegedly had an ex-girlfriend, and the ex-girlfriend she provided the text message that said that allegedly, now these are all alleged,
right?
Allegedly, his aunt allegedly tied him to a tree and blindfolded him and made him perform oral sex, allegedly. And the text messages were provided. Now, you will see later on, because that blindfold is so key, you will see later on where, well, we'll just wait, because it'll come out. There's no need to talk about that portion. It's going to come out.
It's going to come out. Exactly. I did want to highlight that because I wanted everybody to understand like that blindfold being mentioned. And just to keep in mind as we're reading this, she's 8 years old. And this is what the detective is hearing from her mouth directly, right? So now we have direct communication as to what happened, what went down, what she reported, because there was a lot of like speculation that she was not reporting information, that there was some things going on. So I want to make sure that we see, make that connection, I guess.
I also want to make a connection with the teaser from yesterday. Let me scoop this back. If you remember the teaser from yesterday with Unwind with Tasha K, that I made notes because I cannot say it. I mean, I cannot play it, but I sure can say it. Now, I want you to listen to what Clarence Freeman said. Clarence Freeman said in the teaser with Tasha K, Clarence Freeman said all the abuse happened while he was incarcerated. Those are his words, not mine. There was another thing he said, that all this dropped in his lap while Chantel was 4 years old. As you can tell by this document, and we haven't even got to the evidence yet. We just talked about the initial, this is the first time this was reported. And she was 8 years old. Should we talk about anything else? Is that it for this document? Do we see anything else we need to talk about? No? Okay. All right. So we're going to go down next to, go to the next part. Okay. We talked about that. And in that particular part, it did speak of a sexually transmitted disease that both of them had. Mind you, this is at the age of 8 years old. Not 29, because Chantel is 29 right now. I want you to, we are talking about a grown woman right now. She's grown now, but at the time this took place, she was 8 years old. She was a child.
So any allegation that she was not SA'd by someone is absolutely false, because the only way you're going to contract, well, I guess there is technically 2 ways you could contract a genital disease, right? But in this particular case, it was not cited at birth. It was not cited throughout her childhood. It wasn't even cited at 7. It was not cited or at least diagnosed until she was 8. So we know for sure that at 8 years old, she was diagnosed with something that indicated to me that she had been touched by someone, that something happened to her, right? And I'm just curious as to why nothing seemed to be founded in her cases, right? Because we're going to see that later. So I'm just curious about this case.
We're going to move forward. So one of them jumped.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
everything that Tawana is saying is going to come out. Like, you don't even have to say it. This document is so detailed. Mm-hmm. It's going to say everything. All right. So let's just move on.
Let's move on. Before I spill all the beans.
Yeah.
Before I spill all the beans. Do you want me to read this, or are you going to read it?
Hold on a minute. Let me see what this says.
This done there. Oh yeah, do it say?
Yeah, you can go. You can.
I will actually not say whatever the actual diagnosis is, to respect both parties' privacy, and obviously, but it is here, right? The abuse report states, ongoing for the past 2 years, dad has SA Chantel, usually after stepmom has left due to his domestic violence toward her. Dad has put his, you know what, in Chantel's mouth and forced her to perform oral on him. And he has forced intercourse on her. He has blindfolded her in these incidents. There's that blindfold word again, you guys. When he had foot surgery and was in a wheelchair, he made her kneel before him and perform oral on him. Dad has a long history of DV towards stepmom. He was arrested and incarcerated in April for domestic violence with a deadly weapon. It is unknown when he will be released. So the wheelchair is important in this one, and blindfold comes up again.
And this case has been assigned to Detective Newsom. Remember this person, because it's going to come up in the rest of the documents. Excuse me. Okay. These are just. Ooh.
There it is. On Wednesday, August 6th. You want to read this part? Are you reading this?
No, you got it.
On Wednesday, August 6th, Sergeant Joe Loudon, and hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, assigned the above case. And it actually lists the case, you guys, for follow-up investigation. So the case is with DCF, okay? DCF report alleged that the past 2 years there have been ongoing SA by the dad, and Clarence Freeman is listed, to his daughter, Chantel Freeman. The SA occurs when the stepmom leaves the home due to domestic violence. Clarence has a long history of DV towards blank and was arrested and was incarcerated April of 2003. That's important that he's incarcerated in April too. So just keep that in mind, because he alleges that, he was incarcerated during a time. So if you are going to watch Tasha K, just note what this report says. The abuse report further states Clarence put his in Chantel's mouth, forced her to perform oral on him, and forced intercourse on Chantel. Chantel was blindfolded during these incidents. Clarence had foot surgery. So this is in the DCFS report as well. Was in a wheelchair and made Chantel kneel before him. 1 week later, another DCFS report was received in reference to similar allegations. Clarence and Chantel, and 1 week later on July 23rd, 2003. I want to make sure I mention that so we can go back in time and think about when she was still 8 years old, okay? The DCFS report alleged additional information to include Chantel performed oral on her dad, Clarence Freeman, and he performed oral on Chantel. Clarence put something wet inside of her private area, and it felt slimy. And they quoted that, meaning that's what she said, okay? And then it says Clarence digitally. Okay, I don't know what that meant. Oh, he digitally penetrated her, and I'm not sure what that means.
No, I think it meant, let me see. Let me go back.
Up, because it said Clarence. It says Clarence digitally. You see Clarence Freeman digitally penetrated her. That's what it say. I just want to make sure we mention that, because I don't know what that means digitally, but yes, so you guys know. Mm-hmm.
And mind you, Tawana and I went through this document on last night, and both of us stayed up really late. So some of this stuff, this is probably the second or third time we've gone through this. I didn't read that the first time.
That's right.
Yikes.
That's right. That's why I was like, let me mention that. Because this was, so remember, Chantel was interviewed, right? She's 8. She's been interviewed by DCF. She's been interviewed by a detective, and they're rewording it based on her interview. But you will see specific quotes from her. But this is them detailing what she has explained to them, right? As an 8-year-old, and then all the other investigations.
So I just Googled. Y'all know I love Google. I Googled what that meant.
The digitally and penetrating?
Hold on, I'm getting digital penetration is a sexual act that involves penetrating the vagina or the anus with one or more fingers.
Oh, I thought so. I thought they meant like digits, like fingers, but I didn't know for sure.
But what I want to say is, this right here is just an intake. This is not. You will see later on in this document where you see other things that have been proven to be true. Some things, proven not to be true. So please do not make up your mind right now that, oh, he's guilty, because you have not heard the facts. This is just what do they call this? A
report, right? The police report.
Narrative investigation. This is not what's been proven. Just hold tight. And that's why we're telling you to make notes, because this stuff will come back up again. Okay.
That was hard.
Girl. So on Tuesday, August the 5th, 2003, make a note of the date, I spoke with DCF investigator Nikki Gorham. DCF Gorham reported Clarence Freeman was arrested. Write this down. This is important. Was arrested April 21st, 2003 for domestic violence. Now we're going to put a pause right here, because some people, we may be moving it too slow, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of this document. In the Tasha K interview, Clarence Freeman said that at the time of all this happened, he was incarcerated. You see for yourself, he was arrested. Y'all see that? April 21st, 2003. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. Right here at the beginning of this complaint, the undersigned affiant swears that he or she has just and reasonable grounds to believe that on 2/10/02 through 4/21/03, this is when this occurred, which tells me he was not in prison. He didn't go to prison. He did not get arrested until April the 21st. You have anything to say on this one? So
I'm glad you, because I think that was also a point, right? Was like, oh, I was incarcerated at the time, I couldn't have done, but when it was reported and when the alleged abuse happened is actually outlined here.
All right. So Chantel was interviewed by blank at the Children Advocacy Center on 7/21/2003. Remember, at this particular time, Clarence Freeman was incarcerated. DCF Gorham reported Chantel disclosed oral sex and penile penetration. DCF Gorham reported Chantel said Clarence tied his shirt around her eyes. DCF Gorham reported blank was to get with Honey, the nurse practitioner at the Child Advocacy Center, in reference to scheduling and medical examination for Chantel. DCF Gorham reported Clarence Freeman is the biological father of Chantel, stating Clarence has 13 children by 9 women. Clarence and blank have 1 child together. Clarence and Blank have custody of the 5 children. Clarence's biological children from prior relationships. Chantel Freeman, 8 years of age. They blotted all that out. DCF Gorham reported the mothers of the 5 children are located in West Palm Beach, Florida. DCF Gorham reported, DCF Gorham reported Blank was returned to his mother in West Palm Beach. DCF Gorham reported Blank Chantel Blank remained with Blank while Clarence, their dad, is in jail. On Wednesday, 8/6, he is still in jail. 2003, I reviewed the videotape of the forensic interview of Chantel Freeman. The interview had been scheduled by DCF Gorham for 7/28/2003. I was not present during the interview. The video depicted Chantel knew the difference between the truth and a lie and promised to tell the truth. Chantel reported she was there with the Child Advocacy Center coordinator, I think it was, to talk about her dad, who she identified as Clarence Freeman, and what he did to her. Chantel reported the first time something happened was in the Blank in West Palm Beach when she was 7 years old. Remember what she said. When she was 7 years old. Mind you, she's not 29 years old. She is a child. Remember that. Chantel reported her dad was in a wheelchair, stating he had been injured at work. Chantel reported an incident of domestic violence between her and her dad, and stating Blank left home. Chantel reported she was at her grandparents' house. Clarence came and got her, took her back to the house, and later let her suck his private. Chantel reported Clarence blindfolded her. Chantel gave detailed information as to what the male private felt and tasted like. Now, I think it's key where it says Chantel reported she was at her grandparents' house. If you watch the Breakbeat interview, you'll remember she spoke about that. You want to say anything before I move forward? Chantel.
No, I think that, like you said, it seems like whatever is being repeated is the understanding of the detective that's investigating it, is the understanding of DCF, right? And also you see that the Child Advocacy Center is also saying this, she's reporting the same information to 3 different entities. And you have to remember, she's saying the consistency of the blindfold, of the oral, of all of these things. So it's just important to see that she's reporting. This is an 8-year-old talking to 3 different entities. They're asking her several questions, and she's being consistent with her responses. And I'm not trying to swift people in one way. I'm just saying that this is what you see when we're reading the document. It's clearly there, right? So, yes, girl, keep going. Kimmy, you're muted. You're muted. No problem. I see you talking.
I be forgetting. Texas representative told me to take my time. So let me slow it down, and we're already 33 minutes into this thing. Here we go. Chantel reported Clarence Freeman did it one more time at the new house. The new house was later identified as Blank, located at Blank. Chantel reported when she was 8 years old at the new apartment, Clarence asked Chantel if she had peed herself. Chantel reported she wore her school uniform because she had no other clothes. He told her to go to the downstairs bathroom and wash herself with a rag. Chantel reported when she was done, her dad called her to come here. She was wearing a towel, and he told her to lay down next to him on the floor in the living room. Chantel reported she laid on the floor with her dad, stating he had no furniture. Chantel reported Clarence got on top of her and started doing nasty stuff. Chantel stated Clarence put his private inside her private. Chantel was asked how many times Clarence put his private in her private. Chantel reported 5 times. Chantel reported the first time was at the Blank in West Palm Beach, and the other time were at the new house. Chantel reported she never saw Clarence's private. Remember that? Stating she was either blindfolded or her eyes were closed because Clarence said he would beat her if she saw him. And I think we must stop right here and talk about this. What do you think, Tawana?
I think that it's actually making me even more sad for her, right? Um, peeing on herself, that's a sign of being, assaulted. Um, just some of the things that she experienced, like not having any clothes, she's sleeping on a floor. It's so many instances here that's listed, that's talked about, where I feel like the system kind of overlooked and failed her in a lot of things, right? Even if this isn't true, she just has so much other stuff going on. It actually makes me feel sad when I hear the things that she went through as a child, like just being 8 years old, going through anything like this. So that blindfold came up again, right? That whole thing came up again. And the blindfold is key here, and it's mentioned so many times, and then the fact that someone else outside of this situation mentioned that, it makes me believe that the blindfold incident is not just mentioned several times as a coincidence. Like, it actually was something that happened to her. um I don't know what else to say. That's kind of how I feel about that.
So I'm sit with the facts, y'all. But the blindfold is so important because if you jog your memory, and you can remember when Clarence Freeman did the interview with Unwind with Tasha K, he spoke about when the police came to the home, she said her father was not circumcised.
Right.
And he said, and so the police told him to pull his pants down. He did, and he was in fact circumcised. And as an 8-year-old child, you can see right here, all the way back when this statement was taken from a child. Remember, she ain't 29. She
Right.
is a baby. She is a child. And her story has stayed the same. She
Yep.
was blindfolded. If she had not been blindfolded, and you're going to see in the rest of these documents, if she was not blindfolded, she would have known what it looked like. And at the end of the day, at 8 years old, who knows what circumcision is? But anyway, let me stop interjecting what I feel and stick to the facts.
It's hard. It's hard too when you read this, but we got to stick to it. We want to, but yes.
So I just had to say that. So Chantel reported the next time it happened, she was 8 years old. He put his private inside her mouth. Chantel reported she was blindfolded. Chantel reported she was asleep in the living room. Clarence woke her up. He called her name and told her to come here. Chantel reported she was asleep on the living room floor against the other wall. Chantel reported she got up, walked to him. He told her to lay down with him. He got on top of her, put his hands inside his pants, pulled out his. Y'all, I'm sorry. This is a lot. He pulled his private forward and moved himself up and down, rubbing his private on her upper thigh area. The CAC interview summary states, remind you, this is an interview summary. Nothing has been proven up until this point. This is just the intake. The CAC interview summary states Chantel was very difficult to focus on one event at a time and had to be refocused. I got to stop here. The reason why I'm going to stop here, if you remember in the breakbeat interview, Chantel was hard to focus in that breakbeat interview.
Yes.
If you have not watched it, I urge you to go watch the interview. She was very hard to focus. And I'm just going to stop right here. Do you have anything else to say? Because I don't want to interject my opinion.
Yeah, I think that you're right in watching the Breakbeat Media interview, even watching the Tasha K interview, right? She was barely really allowed to speak, but she did say some things that it was a conflict. So, it's hard to understand why is there so many conflict or inconsistencies. But you can see here when something traumatic happens to you and you're 8 years old, it's probably hard for you to focus. And I think that is just important to note that the Child Care Advocacy Center did notice that she was having some similar difficulties. So I think it's a natural response. I guess I don't want to put too much of my opinion, but I don't know if that should weigh so heavily on individuals. But I think other than that, we you have to watch the videos and kind of understand what the inconsistency is. That Breakbeat Media was a very long episode. Kimmie's World, she's also put a lot of other information out there that I think you guys gotta watch. Because I've seen every last one of them because I'm so invested in the story. And then also just Chantel on her page has put out so much information to refute a lot of the things that's been said. So, you got to watch a lot of everything in order to get the full picture. But this is giving enough. This is giving us enough right here.
All right. Chantel indicated that her father let her suck his blank as punishment. I just can't keep saying this word, blank as punishment. Chantel described Clarence putting his hand on the back of her head and pushing her up and down because she wasn't going fast enough. Chantel described Clarence putting his hand on the bottom of his private where their hair is, and it felt soft, and hard at the bottom. Chantel stated Clarence put his private in her private and stated her private felt wrinkly. Chantel was unable to clarify completely if her father's private actually went into her private. Chantel kept saying it went in, but was unable to give more details. Chantel stated that Clarence at one time laid on top of her and she felt his private beside her private, and pointing to the leg on the doll next to the panty line. Chantel stated she never saw his private as he either blindfolded her or turned the lights out. Chantel stated her father let her suck his private 5 times, but was only able to clearly identify 2 separate occasions when this occurred. Once in the living room in the apartment in Lakeland and the other in the old home in Blank. And what I want to say here is, crap, I think I lost my train of thought. During this intake, if you listen to the verbiage, she said, "Can you let Tawana, a real guy?" Yes, she can read that. She definitely can read that.
You're so funny. You highlighted that. But what was your thought on that? I wanted to hear.
I'm being too emotional. I can't help it, y'all. I'm a mother, and Tawana is too, and this is hard.
It's hard for us.
I'm gonna shut up. But what I was gonna say is, if you can listen to the verbiage, you know this is a child because it's in a private area. Next here, I mean, she sounds like a child, and even in the Breakbeat interview, she recounted it just like this. And another thing I want to mention is, not only did she recount it just like this, doggone, I'm losing my train of thought. Tawana, go on and talk so I can remember what I was going to say.
No problem. I think that you hit the nail on the head. She talked about this, and I think she said these same things in her Breakbeat Media interview, and she also tried to say some of these things on the Tasha K interview. I know that one kind of went left real quick. And I think that it's important for us to note that even if this happened to her just one time, it doesn't matter, right? Because I think they said, well, it only happened twice. It's like, I don't care if it happened one time. This is too many times to happen to a child. So it doesn't, I'm not implicating anyone. I'm just saying that just her recalling that this actually happened to her at any moment in her childhood is enough. So on Thursday, 8/7/03, I telephoned.
Hold on just a minute, Tawana.
Go ahead. You were saying you had to say
one thing.
No problem.
What I wanted to say was, Chantel just received this document on Friday. She just received this. She had no knowledge about all of the things that had transpired when she was 8 years old. So when she started to, because being truthfully, I was on the phone with her when she was reading this document and she could not believe what was in the document because she could not remember. I just want to bring that out. She could not remember. Go ahead and read it because everybody.
I'm glad you said
I'm too emotional.
I'm glad you said that because I don't want people to think that she had this document the whole time and she knew what it said. She went through a lot to obtain this document because remember, a lot of these things happened when she was a child. So it's hard to get a lot of those. A lot of that is sealed. So I do want you guys, that is a very important point. I'm glad you said that, Kimmy. On Thursday, 8/7/2003, I telephoned and that's blinked out. I left a voicemail message requesting she return my call. On Monday, 8/11/03, I telephoned blank at work and home. I left a message requesting she return my call. On Wednesday, 8/13, I responded to blank in an attempt to make contact with blank. I noticed blank car in the driveway. No one came to the door. I left a business card on the front door requesting blank telephone me. On Monday, 8/18, I responded to the CAC in Barton in reference to the medical examination of Chantel Freeman. Blank and Chantel did not show up for their scheduled medical appointment. I left the CAC and responded directly to blank house on blank and made contact with them. Reported she was not aware of the scheduled medical appointment for Chantel. I telephoned CAC, spoke with blank in the presence of the rescheduled Chantel's appointment for Thursday, 8/21 at 1,000 hours. Is there anything you want to say about that? Because I know that if you're just kind of lost, they're trying to do a medical examination, more so like a grape kit on her to see if there is any evidence of SA or anything. So they're trying to get her guardian, whoever her guardian is, to actually bring her to be examined. And it just seems like they're following up, trying to get her to come in, and she hasn't been. No one's been responding. No one's been contacting. So that's what you see here. I spoke with blank as to what Chantel reported. Reported she did not know what to believe, stating that she knew what she knew was Chantel and Clarence had told her. All she knew was what they told her. Reported Clarence got custody of Chantel in November of 2002 because her mother was prostituting in West Palm Beach. Reported she and Clarence got together in March of 2000.
Can we stop right there?
Yes, go ahead.
Because we gotta. So I want you to understand this is an intake, and you do see where, because Clarence Freeman did talk about that Chantel Freeman's mother allegedly had her prostituting. So remember this because it's gonna come back up.
Yes. Reported she and Clarence got together in March of 2001. So this is the stepmom, I believe, allegedly, right? They have her blanked out, but this is the stepmom. The domestic violence began in October of 2001. And so the wife is explaining her past with him. And married in 2002. Reported they start having problems with Clarence, started cheating with other women and being controlling. Reported they lived in West Palm Beach 2 different times in 2000 and 2001. Reported the period of time Clarence was in the wheelchair was December 2001. Stated they lived at now. And I don't know how you feel about that, right? Because there is actually, if you remember, Chantel reported that he was in a wheelchair when the alleged abuse happened, right? So she remembers that he was in a wheelchair, that he had an injury. According to the wife, that was 2001, December of 2001, which would mean that Chantel was not 7, she was probably about 6. How old was she in 2001, Kim?
2003, she was 8, 7, 6.
6,
She's
right?
6.
So I just noticed that it says here that he was in. I wonder how long was he in the wheelchair, because that's not said. She just basically noted that in December.
That's a contradiction on this
Yeah,
document.
that's a contradiction, right? The wife
Definitely.
is reporting that December of 2001. So I'm going to be fair, you guys, right? I'm going to call out all contradictions, even if it doesn't support Chantel's side, right? So there is a contradiction with the time frame he was in a wheelchair reported by the wife, as opposed to what is said in the top. Just bringing that to light.
So I want to let you guys know exactly who this ex is. So if you remember, if you followed the Surviving Clarence video I did, I presented some text messages. And in one of the text messages, I said it was really, really crucial. And I was part of like, here it is. She's saying it indirectly. Right. This is the lady. This is the ex-wife who said in the text messages, she does not want her child around Clarence Freeman because no, she said, I don't want my child around Clarence Freeman. Well, around your dad, because I don't want the same thing to happen to her children that happened to Chantel. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the video, and I have all the receipts. They're there. So I had to bring that one out.
No, that's a great point, because knowing that you spoke to the wife that was his wife at the time, right?
I did not. I did not speak with her. This is a conversation Chantel Freeman had with the stepmom.
Oh, okay.
Years ago when she was in high school, and she went through her messages and found the message because she didn't delete it. And she sent them to me.
Oh, wow. So it's the same story. So every proof is the same story, right? Like going back in time, it's like nothing has shifted. I inquired as to blank and Clarence sexual behavior. Blank reported they used lubricant called wet after oral relations. They would gargle their mouths or brush their teeth, Blank reported. They cleaned up after sexual relations, not before. I inquired as to blindfold. Blank reported she was not blindfolded by Clarence, but stated Clarence would playfully blindfold the kids. Blank reported Chantel liked to be blindfolded. I inquired as to prior sexual abuse of Chantel. Blank stated she only knew what Chantel had told her. Blank reported Clarence had called the police in Palm Springs in June or July 2001 from when
Hold on just a minute. Go back and read that, because you said Chantel and it was Clarence. We got to make sure this is right.
Which one?
Go back to I inquired as a prior sexual abuse of Chantel. She stated she only knew what Clarence told her.
Right. Blank stated she only knew what. I just said blank because it's not listed, but I'm assuming it's the wife, obviously. Blank stated she only knew what what Clarence told her. She only knew what Clarence told her. Blank reported Clarence had called the police in Palm Springs in June or July of 2001 from when Chantel's cousin Blank messed with her. Blank reported she did not know the outcome of that report. Blank reported Chantel doesn't shower with Clarence, and Chantel had not seen Clarence nude to her knowledge.
So we have to speak about this one, because if you remember, whoever watched the Chantel, whoever watched the Tasha K interview, Clarence Freeman spoke about an uncle and a cousin allegedly abusing Chantel. Right. Now, mind you, this is an intake. We're still going to get to it. So just remember this point.
Yes, we're trying without bias. I'm just reading what is said. I am reading what it said. I'm not trying to shape anyone's opinion. Of course, I have my own, but for sure, read this. Blank reported after Clarence arrest for the domestic violence, he moved blank located at blank. Reported Clarence had little or no furniture, slept on the downstairs living room floor on an air mattress. Blank reported Chantel did not pee herself. Blank reported Clarence told her Chantel had some discharge. Blank reported Clarence told her this. She did not see it. Reported Chantel's panties smelled like she does not clean herself good and has poor hygiene. Ugh, I hate to read that. I asked Blank about punishment. Blank reported Clarence never really disciplined Chantel, stated he'd make Chantel stay in her room or restrict her from watching TV. Blank reported she spanked Chantel when she hurt the babies.
So I want to read this comment that, hey, Miss, I need a cocktail, please, cuz. She said, good evening, ladies. Can you just provide the info and at the conclusion, compare notes without bias? I'm speaking from the highest regards and utmost respect. We sure will, and you are absolutely right. And we're going to keep our opinions out of this because at the end of the day, it's all about what happened in black and white, right?
Right. And we had a talk to do that too. Like, we're gonna just read it. It's hard when you're in it, of course, because we've heard all of the interviews and all sides. So I want you to be aware of all the sides that are out there, obviously, and the conflicts as well.
So we will bring out the conflicts because that's a part of this document. That's black and white, and I have to let people know what Clarence said on the interview and what Chantel said and what this black and white document said. That's it. That's all.
I can read a little bit more, Kimmy, and then we can. I think you can jump in if you want. I asked Blank if she had spoken to Clarence in jail about the allegation. Blank reported she and Chantel had spoken to Clarence, stating she put Chantel on the phone. Reported Clarence denied the SA. Chantel told her dad, "You know you did that. I'm not lying." On Friday, August 15th, 2003, an additional report to DCF alleging the stepmother Blank failed to provide adequate supervision for the children in reference to her brother, the children's uncle. There has been a history of DV between, and they blanked it out, you guys. Blank allowed the children to have contact with Blank. Seems like she allowed the children to have contact with him, right? I asked Blank about her brother. Blank reported she had had a prior problem with her brother. Blank, as a result, he was no longer allowed to see the children.
So what I'm going to bring out is in the Unwind with Tasha K interview with Clarence Freeman. Clarence Freeman spoke about the uncle, and this is the intake, and they're actually speaking about that. So I just want you to remember. You can go on, or you want me?
On Tuesday, August 19, 2003, I telephoned DCF Gorham to get copies of the prior DCF reports regarding prior alleged SA. I left a message regarding DCF. Gorham returned my call. On Wednesday, 8/20/2003, he telephoned DCF and left a message requesting she return the call. On Thursday, 8/21/2003, Chantel Freeman was seen by examiner Connie Fleming. So she's finally in. ARNP/C at the CAC. Not sure what those initials mean. Maybe we can Google it. The conclusion of the medical examination indicated the physical findings were consistent with the child's history of SA.
Those initials are nurse practitioner.
Okay.
I believe. Hold on. Let me find out for sure. Hold on just a second.
So I don't want to read the rest because it is her medical information. Okay. But there was some things cited and a specific STI that was cited. Okay. If you guys can see it for yourself, you
So
can see it.
this is a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
What I will say to, let's see, I'm gonna read some of it, but not all of it. On Thursday, 8/21, Chantel Freeman was seen by I think you read
I
that.
already saw that part.
I'm
I'm not
good.
reading. Yeah, I wasn't gonna read the part about the unusual, but you can if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to read it.
It's so important. Okay. It did say there were.
I know. I don't. I mean, but I think people can see it.
Okay.
So yeah, the pediatric. I didn't. You can read the last. I think the last statement is important.
Okay, there was a referral to pediatric gynecologist is recommended for possible biopsy to confirm diagnosis. This is important. These are facts here. Now, on Thursday, 8/21/2003, I obtained copies of prior DCF abuse reports from CAC. The Freeman family had 23 prior abuse reports dating back to December 1995 until current. Listed below are those DCF reports alleging SA and their findings. Reference 7, y'all see that date 7/2000. Chantel allegedly R by blank medical examiner, neither supporting, negating allegations. This was closed with no findings. At this time, she would have been 5 years old. And at this time, July 2000, as far as medical examination, she had not been touched. Reference 8, date 9/2000. Mother witnessed father Clarence ejaculate into Chantel's mouth and put blank in blank blank. Case closed. The court gave custody to dead Clarence Freeman. So as you can see, as of 9/2000, when she was still 5 years old, she still had not been touched, according to this documentation. So you can read between the lines. Those statements were not true. Reference number 9, 9/2000, the father ejaculates in Chantel's mouth. Case closed. Child not spoken to. The mother is mental. Made prior abuse reports 7 and 8. Accused West Palm Beach PD of sexually abusing Chantel. That's the first time I'm really reading that one. You?
No, I saw that. It's been multiple allegations of abuse.
No. The mother accused West Palm Beach PD of sexually abusing Chantel.
Right.
So, and this was found to be case closed. It wasn't true.
Yeah,
Chantel
all of the allegations are unfounded, right? But there has been multiple allegations since 2003. And I think, or since 2000. What I think is important though is that the child was never interviewed, which I thought was an important thing to mention because I don't understand.
I disagree because it's going to come up later on. Because up in 2000, she had yet, as far as physical examination, she had yet to be touched.
In my opinion, someone should have spoken to her, but that's just, I think that just because there's been multiple allegations, I would want a DCF just to speak with her, not to ask her anything specific, but just to make sure she was safe, just to make sure there was no truth to the allegation. And I think for them to say child not spoken to makes a lot of sense, right? And gives us an idea of what happened.
Okay. Where are we? The father, okay, 9/2000. This is the same thing. The father ejaculation, that's the same thing.
Right.
Reference 10, Date 7/2001, new date. Blank touched Chantel's private child on child. Palm Springs PD, DCF closed with some indicators. Note, the criminal investigation was unfounded per Detective Gagnon, Palm Springs PD. At this time, she's still yet to be touched. And mind you, she was in the custody of her father during this time. 9/2002, the abuse referral made reference to Chantel being molested in 1997 because her vagina was big enough to put a blank in. Chantel was examined. Doctors found no evidence of molestation. Case closed. There were no genital warts at the time of the examination. That is key as well.
Mm-hmm.
Still, my notes. What was that to that? Still, and at this time, Chantel was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No. The date 9/2002, she was 7 years old, but they went back to 1997 when her mother reported, and that was found not to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the current allegation, DCF, 7/2003, Sexuat Ra by Clarence Freeman on Chantel. The medical exam of Chantel Freeman was consistent with the child's history of abuse. This is very important. Do you see this date? At this time, she was 8 years old. At this time, July of 2003, Clarence Freeman was incarcerated. Remember, at the beginning of this report, all the way at the beginning of page number 1, it says this incident occurred from February the 10th, 2002 through April 21st, 2003. Now, what we can note right here is, according to medical examinations, she had yet to be touched, even on the incident report of when they said it occurred, 2/10/02. She was not. It was actually, do you know the dates? I think I wrote it down.
She had not been, there was no evidence of penetration. There was no evidence of penetration, right? That's what wasn't founded. I guess if there was other oral abuse, we don't know that. We don't know anything else. We only know that there was no evidence of molestation at the time she was examined, and that was in 2002.
So she was examined September 2002, right, and they noted she did not have any type of sexually transmitted disease at that time.
Right.
Which goes to show from at least September 2002 to April 21st, 2003, something happened, and you will see. But I had to bring them dates together. Okay. Okay. On Thursday, 8/28/2003, I telephoned Palm Springs Police Department and ordered report reference touching Chantel DCF, reference 10. I spoke with Ralph Verquery, I can't pronounce that, who reported the file was archived and would need to be ordered. Mm-hmm. On Thursday, 8/28, I telephoned Shaquita Lundy with Palm Springs County DCF. Lundy was on vacation. I left a message with her supervisor, Jim Evers, to return my call. On Wednesday, 9/3, I spoke with Blank at the CAC. Reporter Connie Fleming, ARNP, had a colleague look at Chantel's medical examination. The diagnosis was blank. Reported she needed Chantel's previous medical examinations. I got to pause here because if you remember, upon the first diagnosis, she had a culture done. The culture came back negative, and they determined that it was something else. When they determined that, there was a note placed in her file that said that she needed to follow up with a pediatric gynecologist. As you can see here, a pediatric gynecologist was not examining her file. The person who examined her file was Connie Fleming, and she is a nurse practitioner. She does not specialize in pediatrics. She's in pediatrics and gynecology. Here's one other instance. Here's one of the instances where Chantel Freeman was failed because they did not have her, and I'm not an attorney, I'm just going off of what was said in this document.
Yeah.
But they should have followed the document, and they did not. I don't know why, but they didn't. Okay. Reported she needed Chantel's previous medical examination, reported blank are contracted at birth or through sexual contact. Saying Chantel is too old for the blank to just now be being detected if they were transmitted at birth. So we do know she did not have a sexually transmitted disease at birth. She did not have a sexually transmitted disease in 2002. She had a sexually transmitted disease in 2003 on that September evaluation. Mind you, she is 8 years old. Let's move forward. On Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2003, our telephone stated, I think I just gave the wrong date.
2003?
I gave the wrong month.
Okay.
That was July of 2003. Y'all, we got to be precise because people will pick this apart. So it was July.
Which one?
Chantel was diagnosed with the sexually transmitted disease. July 2003, the month. Instead, I think I said September 2003.
Oh, okay.
On Wednesday, 9/3, our telephone blank stated she was walking out the door and not able to talk. I ascertained if or Clarence had blank. Reported in January, February 2003. Wait a minute now. She reported in January, February 2003. They started getting bumps on them stating they were more like boils. Reported her doctor did not examine down there. Reported Clarence was staying at Barnum Memorial for something in reference to his blank, but Clarence did not discuss the matter with her. Reported she will get the medical records to me. On Wednesday, 9/3, Detective Dias and I responded to the jail annex in Barnum and met with Clarence Freeman. I identified myself and Detective Dias to Clarence and told him that I was there to follow up on a DCF report concerning his daughter, Chantel. Clarence reported his attorney advised him not to speak with the police. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Clarence asked if I knew Chantel's history concerning SA and her sexually acting out at school. This is key. I'm going to read it again because it's going to come up again. Clarence asked if I knew Chantel's history concerning SA. Mind you, I got to interject. I got to jog your memory here. At this moment, the first time that it was documented that her medical examination came back where she had been touched was July 2003. That's when it was documented. Which means, remember, we gave that time frame of when it was supposed to happen. Everything prior to that is that all those reports of the uncle, the cousin, the being promiscuous, the prostitution were unfounded. She had never been touched. You read it for yourself, but I have to let you know about that. You got anything to say about that, Tawana?
No, I agree. Those allegations were unfounded. Now, that doesn't, that's an opinion of the experts. And I think that that's important to note that it's unfounded and was opinions of the experts at that time. Now, prior to this, those allegations that were made, were they also from Florida? It didn't say, right? Or it didn't say those chain of allegations, were they all in Florida, or was it like different states or something? I'm not sure. I guess they didn't really
This
say.
was in Florida at the time because he was incarcerated in Florida. All this is in Florida at the
All
time.
of those allegations from the mom and all that, was in
Yes, this is
Florida.
in Florida.
Okay,
This is
that was
definitely in
in
Florida.
Florida. Okay, good.
All right, so let's stick with the facts. Let's go. Where was I? Oh, I told him I did. Clarence asked me if I was aware of the jail recordings of conversations between him and Chantel. I stated I did not. This was going to come up again, these jail conversations. Clarence advised me to listen to the tapes and referred me to his DCF attorney, Robert Hancock. Clarence stated he did not wish to give a statement, but provided me with the names of family members and ex-girlfriends for follow-up investigation. I want to say something so bad, but I got to stick to the facts. On Wednesday,
No, you don't. The real guy said the way we were doing it was fine. Okay, we can't let everybody dictate how you do. I mean, yes, we want to respect people and their opinions, but also, Kimmy, you Kimmie's World. Okay, you gonna
I'm
throw it
Kimmies
in?
World. I'm
Yeah.
Kimmies World, but I do want to stick to the facts because I don't want to have my opinion on the audience because I don't want to say whether or not he's guilty or innocent. We're gonna let the document speak for itself, and you all can determine what you think. But and I just leave it there. I'll just keep it there. She said, "Wowzers."
Let's say.
All right.
No, I ain't gonna promise what Kimmy promised, okay? Because if I got something to say, I'm gonna say it. But that's okay, Kimmy. You know that's what I do on Tomorrow the G. Okay, I say the say them.
Okay. On Wednesday, 9/3/2003, I telephoned attorney Robert Hancock. Hancock reported he has spoken with Ashley in special investigations in an attempt to get the phone recordings of the conversations between Clarence and Blank, but the computer was down. Hancock advised me to telephone Ashley, stating I could get the recordings from her. On Wednesday, 9/3, I telephoned Ashley Adcock. Ashley reported the computer was down, but was scheduled to be fixed 9/4 the next day, 2003. Ashley stated she will pull the recordings and call me back. On Wednesday, 9/3/2003. Okay, same day. I telephone. Here it comes, y'all. Here it comes. I telephoned Medulla Elementary School and spoke with Patty, the school counselor. Patty reported she had no problems with Chantel at school, sexually acting out or otherwise. I'm going to read it one more time. I telephoned Medulla Elementary School and spoke with Patty, the school counselor. Patty reported she had no problems with Chantel at school, sexually acting out or otherwise. Patty reported Chantel was quiet and soft-spoken. Patty reported she had problems with Chantel's older brother, stating he was backer acted. I don't even know what that means. 3 times for putting a belt around his and attempting blank. Patty reported the children were no longer at Medulla Elementary School, but had transferred to. Patty referred me to Debbie Ferguson, Chantel's teacher, for further information. Debbie Ferguson was not available. A message was left for her to return a call. On Wednesday, same day, man, this detective is working. On Wednesday, 9/3/2003, I telephoned Blank at the CAC and schedules appointments for Chantel's brother Blank to be interviewed on Tuesday, 9/9/2003 at 900 hours. So I'm not for sure which brother this is. I don't know because she has 2 older brothers.
Okay.
If it's one of the older brothers, Chantel was 8 at this time. I believe he's 5 years older. He would have been 13. And I can't remember the other brother, what's his age difference, but they pretty much close in age.
He's a little younger than her, right?
No, he's older.
Oh, the other brother too. Mm-hmm. So can I say this though?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Because it has been said that there were, and this has been said on Tasha K, mostly, that there were allegations that Chantel was promiscuous and acting out sexually in the classroom. So in the school. So it's important that the counselor said this specifically, that she had absolutely no issues with that, and that wasn't something that had been reported or something that she knew about. And so I think that kind of points out a huge contradiction, because I think it's been said that she was just promiscuous and acting out and doing all these things. And that's been the story that's been painted about her, when actually the counselor reported quite the opposite, that she was very quiet and soft-spoken at school. And I trust a professional over anything else, right? Like, I'm going to trust what this professional is saying to the officer, because she could have very well said whatever was going on with Chantel, if that was, something contradictory to that. So that's important for me. I thought that was important, because that was what we've been hearing the whole time.
So, Tawana, I think that is a great point that you brought out. Great. But I do want to talk about this Baker Act. And shout out to Simply Travel with Me for bringing this forward. She said the Baker Act is a Florida law that enables families and loved ones to provide emergency mental health services. And in this document, it was enacted 3 times, y'all.
For
That's huge.
That's
so not only I'm going to say Chantel was failed, but so were those children in that home, because something, I don't know what was going on. Children act out in different ways. And Simply Travel with Me, she's a school teacher, and she tells me all the time, students act out in different ways. And, all this stuff was allegedly, I don't know if it was going on. I just know being reported. There were so many things being reported, and they were still in the same environment. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
You have anything else to say before we get back to the document?
I think that you said it all. I think that we see several instances of abuse being reported, right? We see several instances of the detective validating concerns and abuse that's happened, and things that have been repeated. And so I think next what's coming up is the brother kind of giving his spiel about it. I think that's important for us to see as well. But it is like kind of heartbreaking to see 2 minors listed in here that have been, reported to receive some type of trauma, it seemed like there was not, they were in the same environment and there was nothing happening to help them. And I mean, that's what it appears from this report, right? We don't know what happened in real life. And obviously I have to say that this is alleged. I can only go by what the sequence of events here. It seems like they're still in the care with the people who are having some connection to what's going on with them. It seems like they're still having struggles, but this is all being investigated, and it's taking a long time, because we started in April. It's already September, and he's still investigating this. So where are Chantel and her siblings during this time, right? They're with the stepmom or someone that's associated with Clarence, right? So
who let's bring this out. They're with the stepmom, who, it will come out in this document, they're with her, but she was allegedly she received domestic violence from Clarence Freeman.
She wasn't right. So she wasn't protected.
That's the reason why he was in prison during this time.
Yeah.
And I believe he said in a Tasha K interview yesterday that was untrue, but he said, we're going to stick to Chantel. That's exactly what he said in that teaser. So,
and I think it was also mentioned that this stepmother allowed Chantel to speak to him while this thing is going on, like all this investigation, all these allegations are going on. She allowed Chantel to speak with him, which is, come on now, like, this is problematic. There's an active investigation of incest, of SA, of lewd acts of a minor, and she is speaking to the person who she's
Her abuser.
accusing, her abusers, who she's accusing of abuse, and it's the stepmother who has allowed her to do it. So this is all in this form, in this document, which was very alarming to me. And even if he never did it, just when it's an active investigation, your first thing is to protect the child, right? And until it's clear.
So, 2 Texas represents question. She said, has this case been taken to court? Here's the thing. You are going to see, and that is why this is titled, We Failed Chantel Freeman. This is a long document, and right now we are on page, where are we?
Well,
Shoot, I don't know. We're on page 13 of 56, and we're almost 2 hours into this.
We're going to have to do part 2, right?
3 and 4, 5. But you're going to hear how she was failed. And I'm not saying that it's due to her father abusing her. She was failed repeatedly. Not only her brothers were as well.
That's right.
And Tawana and I are still investigating as we speak. We still gotta obtain more documents, because this is the initial, this is the beginning of this whole saga. Like, this goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Mind you, she's 29 years old. And I believe, up until a year or 2 ago, they had a instance with one another. So this has been going on. This is the beginning of these documents.
Absolutely.
She said, wonderful job y'all are doing, lady. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Okay. So on Tuesday, 9/9, Jan with Gulf Coast Community Care transported Blank to the CAC. Blank had been absent from school, Blank, due to illness. Therefore, he was unable to keep his scheduled appointment. This was the brother. Blank spoke with Blank in a room equipped with closed circuit video equipment for the purpose of observation. A video recording was made of the interview. Blank denied anyone touching him inappropriately. Blank denied seeing anyone touch Chantel in the private area or butt area. Blank stated that he and his siblings do play blind man with a blindfold. Blank denied his father blindfolding them and playing games with them blindfolded. See tape of CPT forensic interview and interview narrative for further information. So I must say this. The stepmom had already did her intake and said that Clarence Freeman would play blind man with the children. And as you can see, the son said that they never did it. So here's another inconsistency. I just had to bring that out. You got anything, Tawana?
No, that was good. I think, let's see how much we can get through.
You got that right. On Thursday, 9/11/2003, DCF Nikki Gorham brought Blank to the CAC. Blank spoke with Blank in a room equipped with closed-circuit video equipment for the purpose of observation. A video recording was made of the interview. Blank denied anyone touching him in the genital area or on his butt, and denied seeing anyone touch in those areas. Blank denied seeing any girls touched on those areas or on the breast. Blank denied anyone telling him about being touched in those areas. At the end of the interview, however, Blank stated that Chantel had said that their father got on top of her, and he heard Blank telling his father, and he heard Blank telling his father this on the phone. Blank stated that Chantel is perverted and does a lot of nasty stuff. I got to say something right here. What child do you know at this age know the word perverted? Anyway, I'm just gonna keep reading. Such as getting on top of their cousin. Blank and that Blank said she did something nasty to his bottom when Chantel was 5 years old. Blank stated that Chantel got this behavior from her real mother and from TV. Blank reported Chantel told him that her uncle Blank got on top of her and did something nasty. Blank claims Chantel is saying that her father did this because she doesn't like their father. See videotape of forensic interview and interview narrative for further information. I just want you to remember that at 5 years old, 6 years old, and a portion of like 6 months of 7 years old, Chantel had never been touched. So where is this child getting this information from? That's all I'm asking. You have anything?
Yeah, at 5 years old, she was exhibiting any of this behavior. This should have been a red flag as well. DCFS, and I think that that's just what I'm hearing from this, even what I hear from the son, right? Because he's a child, he doesn't know, he's repeating, it sounds like behavior or whatever he's seeing. I don't know if he witnessed it or if this is something he's repeating, right? But what I will say that if she displayed any of this behavior at home, this is just another instances to me where she was failed, right? Because someone should have saw that as an immediate red flag. If any of our daughters was doing any of this kind of behavior, it would be an immediate concern for us, and we would be looking into what is happening here. Because why is she at 5 acting out, right? And so you can see the mentality of this child where he's saying she's 5 years old, and he's almost kind of saying that she is the problem here, right? And so it's just interesting how the narrative spins, and just noticing that in the storytelling.
On Thursday, 9/11, I telephoned Ashley Acop, PCSO, Special Investigations, in reference to the jail telephone recordings. Ashley reported the computer was still down. Government. Therefore, the recording could not be retrieved. I spoke with Sergeant Monroe, who reported Miami was scheduled to repair the computer Monday, 9/15. Now, that's been a long time. And asked me to call back Monday. On Thursday, 9/11, I telephoned Palm Springs Police Department in reference to the 2001 police report regarding Chantel and Blank. I spoke with Paula, who reported Ralph was no longer working with records and she was unaware of the request. I asked Paula to retrieve the Palm Springs report from archives. On Thursday, 9/11, I telephoned at CAC to ascertain if she received medical records on Chantel. Stated she had not. On Thursday, 9/11, I telephoned DCF Gorham in reference to prior medical records of Chantel Freeman. I left a message requesting DCF Gorham return my call. On 9/11/2003, I received via fax from Blank a medical report dated 7/25/2000. This time, Chantel would have been shucks. 8, 7, 6, 5? 5. Yep. She would have been 5 years old. In reference to Chantel Freeman, Chantel was examined by the Child Protection Team of Palm Springs Beach. The medical examination was a result of DCF report. Prior number 7, received 7/14/2000, where it is alleged that Chantel was Blank by her Blank. The medical examination's findings were stated as normal genital examination. The findings neither support nor negate allegations. The reporter, the biological mother, was known to be mentally ill. The case was closed by DCF with ongoing services. Note, no genital were documented at the time of this examination.
And I think the detective is noting like you have been trying to call it out to everyone, the time frame, so people understand when they believe the actual alleged SA occurred, because there's a clear time frame in reference when you can see she had been diagnosed with something, right? And then prior to, she has been examined, she has been looked at, they have investigated, and all of the other things were unfounded. But in this particular incident, there is something found, right? Whether they don't know who it is or they're trying to figure it out, right? In this whole thing, but they know something was found in this 2003 diagnosis. And if nothing else, it indicates that there was some behavior in order for her to have this disease or this alleged sexual transmitted infection. So Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting juicy right
Mhm.
now. Mm-hmm.
On Thursday, 9/11/2003, I received from Palm Springs Police Department the incident report concerning the on-child allegation of lewd and lasciviousness concerning Chantel at age 6 and her blank and her cousin. Did I read it?
No,
States the
you didn't
father.
read this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Mhm.
The Palm Springs blank. Let's see. No, the Palm Springs PD report 2001 states the father, Clarence Freeman, reported his blank kissed Chantel. They touched each other's private parts, and blank rubbed his private parts against her private parts. I telephoned Detective Gagnon and left a message requesting she return my call. On Tuesday, 10, oh, this detective is working. On Tuesday, 10/7/2003, upon returning from my annual leave, I responded to Winter Haven and met with Ashley Adcock in an attempt to listen to the recorded jail telephone calls. The system computer was down. On Friday, 10/10, I telephoned ASA Kevin Abdon requesting a subpoena for Clarence Freeman's medical records to determine if he is a carrier of blank blank. ASA Abdoni stated he would notify the defendant of the request, stating it could take a couple of weeks for the defendant to respond to the subpoena. On Monday, 10/13/2003, I spoke with Detective Gagnon with Palm Springs, who reported the allegation of sexual abuse between Chantel and her cousin. Blank was unfounded. Detective Gagnon reported the father, Clarence Freeman, called back, stating Chantel recanted her story. Detective Gagnon reported blank post Miranda denied all allegations. Detective Gagnon reported no charges were filed, no medical examination was given. A supplemental report was not available. Now I do know Tawana and I think differed on this opinion, and I was saying that I don't think they failed Chantel during this particular period since they did not give her any. They didn't. What was we saying? That they didn't investigate
They didn't
further.
examine her. Yeah, they
They didn't examine her. And my point was, well, she hadn't been touched according to the other examinations, but she probably should have still been examined. All right, we can.
Why not just clear? You know, hey, nothing happened. We see no evidence. I think they did do it according to what you just read above. You saw that they did examine her after one of the mother's allegations. So they did actually examine her, and it was unfounded. So it was unfounded. When he got the DCF reports, it showed that they did examine her and it was unfounded. So that made me feel happy because I was like, at least they did try to investigate some of all these allegations that happened.
On Wednesday, 11/5/2003, I received from DCF via fax 2 new DCF reports, 2003 and dated 11/3/2003. The reporter is Bob Hancock, the attorney for Clarence Freeman. The first report, 2000, states blank fought with an adult in the presence of the children. Blank leaves the children with other people, and there is concern for the safety and well-being of the children. The second report states that blank and Chantel have been engaging in sexual contact, including oral sex. Blank attempted to have sex with the stepmother. Blank told the father this over the telephone. The telephone call is recorded by the jail. Blank confirmed the SA with the father by telephone. On Wednesday, November the 5th, 2003, I spoke with DCF investigator Leroy Dux in reference to the new allegations made by Clarence Freeman through his attorney. DCF Dux reported he spoke with blank, who stated her aunt blank disciplined her blank daughter blank, blank verbally. There was no active abuse. DCF does reported the incident involving blank and Chantel. Blank said, blank, this is hard. I'm like, what?
It's a lot of blank.
It's a lot of blanks. Who is it? And Duff reported blank said she knocked on the door. They opened the door immediately, and she noted no sexual behavior. Blank stated she has not suspected sexual behavior between blank and Chantel. DCF does further stated unfounded. So those claims are unfounded. DCF DUX reported blank said she and the children had fallen asleep in her bed and she woke up with blank rubbing her bottom. DCF Dust reported blank said when she felt it, she woke up and asked blank to go to his room. DCF Dust reported blank said she believed that blank was not sexually acting out, but just dreaming. DCF Dust reported blank said the father made the report because she told him she had a boyfriend so he would leave her alone. DCF DUX spoke with the children. There were no findings to support the new DCF allegations. DCF DUX reported Wendy Vincent with Family Builders is in the blank home 2 to 3 times per week, in addition to Laura Morris, the protective service worker with Gulf Coast. See DCF Dust report. You have anything to say about that?
How many unfounded reports is DCF gonna note? I mean, this is got to be number 20, 30. There is just several unfounded reports cited throughout her childhood from 1997 until 2003. You see what I mean? They're referencing cases that's happened way back that we don't
1995. That went back to 95.
She has had so much SA allegations reported to DCF, and I just don't understand what was happening. Why was decisions made? So it's a lot of questions as I'm reading this.
It's so funny that you said that, because I just really put it into perspective. Y'all know about the boy who cried wolf. And I'm not saying she cried wolf because she wasn't reporting it. It was other people reporting it.
Right. It was her mom. It was her family members. It was her father.
Her dad. Mm-hmm.
It was her aunt. They were all reporting these things that were supposedly happening to Chantel. But the way it was presented on
the brother.
The way it was presented on Tasha K's show was that Chantel was reporting this stuff. But now we see the evidence. Sorry, y'all, my baby yelling. Now we see the evidence that. Sorry, y'all. I'm a mute because she going loud. Go ahead, Kimmy.
She is absolutely right. Simply Travel With Me said all of them are just documented but not doing a thing to help this child or the family. Tragic. It's very tragic because I do know that the police department works in conjunction with the DCF. Mm-hmm. And, so they should have been working in conjunction. They should have been, obviously they were working in conjunction.
It seemed like they were, right?
They were. But
they were limited based on the number of allegations that have been unfounded, right? The number of things, the discovery that they had. And now they're trying to go with this you can see where they're moving. They're moving to more concrete evidence, the medical examinations. So they're subpoenaing his medical examinations. They already have Chantel's. They have her DCFS medical examination. They have the examination from CAC. They're actually trying to obtain his records so they can confirm this disease, right? That's very specific, or STI or STD, whatever we want to call it. That's very specific that if one person have it, the other have it, if there was any SA. So I think that's where you see them moving, because they're like, look, all these allegations ain't going nowhere. Let's get some concrete documentation to support this, right? So I think that's why we see it move into that place. And I'm so happy this detective was like keeping note of everything.
And one thing I want to bring out to you is, if you have not been able to follow, you don't understand why the detective wants the records. It's because Chantel Freeman, at the age of 8, has been diagnosed with a sexually transmitted disease. This particular sexually transmitted disease, if you are not in an ongoing outbreak, you can't be tested.
That's right.
If you are not in an ongoing outbreak of this particular infection, you can't pass it. So the detective wants to see Clarence Freeman's records to see if he, in fact, has this sexually transmitted disease, because if he does, case closed.
And I think because it's been so many allegations, right? So many unfounded things that's happened. I think that is what they need in order to close the coffin on this case. Because it's to me, it's going to be eye-opening, to find out what his medical history is, because again, he cannot dispute that. He just can't.
He cannot. Okay, let's move forward. Where was I? Okay. On Wednesday, November the 5th, 2003, I telephoned ASA Kevin Avenue to ascertain the status of the issuance of the subpoena for medical records concerning Clarence Freeman. ASA Abney reported the subpoena was served and he was awaiting the response. On Monday, November the 10th, 2003, Abney telephoned and advised that he had received the medical records from Bartow Memorial Hospital concerning Clarence Freeman. I responded to the state's attorney's office and picked up the medical records. Upon reviewing the medical records of Clarence Freeman, the medical records indicated he was treated January 13, 2003 in the emergency room for penile pain caught in zipper. The medical records indicated Freeman was diagnosed with Steve Bartow Memorial Hospital medical reports. What I will say is, at this particular point, the two do not have the same sexually transmitted disease. They have two different ones, and there are going to be some things that still come out at the end of this document. Okay. I'm going to read a few and I'm going to hand it over to you if you're ready. On Monday, November the 10th, I telephoned Blank at the CAC in reference to setting CPT appointment for Chantel and Blank concerning the new allegations of SA. Appointments for Chantel and Blank were scheduled for Thursday, November the 20th, 2003 at 0830 hours and 1300 hours. That's 8:30 in the morning and 1 o'clock in the evening. On Monday, November the 17th, 2003, I was.
You're muted. You're muted, Kim. You went mute. Sorry, we didn't hear.
Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm just reading away. Hold on. So, on Monday, November the 10th, 2003, I telephoned at the CAC in reference to setting CPT appointments for Chantel and Blank concerning the new allegations of Sexuat Ra. Appointments for Chantel and Blank were scheduled for Thursday, November the 20th, 2003 at 0830, which is 8:30 in the morning, and 1300 hours, which is 1 o'clock. On Monday, November the 17th, 2003, I received via inter-office mail the medical records of Clarence Freeman from Polk County Jail Correctional Medical Services sent via the SAO. The medical records made reference to his diet, his ankle, a stinging sensation when he urinates, swollen hand, spider bite, and various ailments. I noted no mention of. Note the handwriting is hard to decipher. See Correctional Medical Services history and screening for further information. On Thursday, November the 20th, Detective Jackson and I responded to Blank and made contact with Blank and Chantel Freeman. I advised Blank that Chantel had an appointment at the CAC scheduled this morning. Blank had Chantel get dressed and go with us to the CAC. I spoke briefly with Blank, who reported she was aware of the current allegations of her husband, Clarence, stating they were not true. Blank reported Clarence was mad at her because she had told him she had a boyfriend. Blank reported she lied to Clarence so he would leave her alone. I reminded Blank she had promised to get me the medical records. Blank's reported she had visited the hospital in Miami and was diagnosed with the same thing that Clarence had. Blank reported that the blank were in her vaginal area in addition to her mouth. This is key, y'all. Sores in the mouth. It didn't say that, but that's what that is. Blank reported she had no other sexual partners other than Clarence for the past 3 years. Blank reported she will be going to Miami for the holidays and will give me a copy of her medical records. You want to go here?
Yeah, I will. Detective Jackson and I transported Chantel Freeman to the CAC in Barton, and in Bartow, in my unmarked police vehicle. Upon arrival at CAC, Blank escorted Chantel to a room specifically designed for interviews. The interview was video recorded. I monitored the interview from a closed circuit TV monitor and asked Chantel if she knew why she had to come to CAC. Chantel reported to talk about my dad again. Blank asked if anything had happened to Chantel since the last time Blank spoke with her. Chantel stated, "No, my dad is in jail." Blank asked Chantel if anything else was going on. Chantel stated no. Chantel knew the difference between the truth and a lie. Chantel promised to tell the truth. Chantel reported nothing happened to her. No one had done anything to her. Blank stated, "The last time you were here talking about your dad getting on top of you, have you seen anybody else do that?" Chantel stated no. Blank asked Chantel if anyone had done that to her. Chantel stated no. Chantel reported no one had done that before her dad. No one had done that after her dad. Chantel reported only my dad did. See CAC forensic interview for a summary.
We got to talk about this.
Yes.
So you want to do it first? Let me shut up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this was on Natasha K teaser. She read this particular portion in her teaser. And then after she read this, she played a clip from Breakbeat interview. In Breakbeat interview, Chantel Freeman said that her brothers had sexually assaulted her, prior to her father. She also said her father would make her perform oral on him. She also stated that Clarence Freeman, examined her between her legs to see if she was still a virgin. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. And after he noticed she wasn't a virgin, he began to have sex with her. Now, as we know, there was the sexual abuse had to occur from after September 2002 to April 21st, 2003. That's when it had to occur. There is a discrepancy with Chantel's statement from the Breakbeat interview to this one. As you can see, she states nobody had touched her prior to this time. Now, many of you may be wondering, oops, she told a lie. She told a lie. Because that's what Tasha K is saying. She lied. But here's what I want you to, and I'm not justifying for her. This is what she told me. She did not remember. The first time she told her story the way she did was on that Breakbeat interview. Now, I went live on yesterday and I spoke about my own experiences, how I did not recall anything ever happened to me as a child. I said that it came to me in a fog in my 40s. Yeah, I'm 47 years old. And this happened when I was small, like second grade, maybe first grade. And I did not remember. I suppressed it. I spoke about this. I didn't know I was going live today to talk about this. I didn't even have these documents, but I suppressed it. I couldn't remember. When traumatic things happen to you, your brain has a way of coping with issues. This is a fact. I know I have post traumatic stress disorder. For those of you all who know, I was attacked by two pit bulls. I can recount everything about that event. And I remember Tasha K was saying, I was sexually assaulted. I know exactly what happened. How could she not remember when she lost her virginity? How does she not remember that? every every human brain does not operate the same. I wish I had some type of specialist or a panelist that could talk about this.
Yeah.
Everybody is not the same. Just like I recounted the dog attack, I didn't recount that event that happened to me when I was a small child until about 5 years ago. And I confronted the person that did that to me. And guess what? The person apologized, moved forward, and here we are. So it can possibly happen. Go ahead. Tawana.
No, I agree with you. Hey, Freezy. I definitely agree with you. I just think that it's it's a detail that is important, right? Because you want to know that there was some inconsistencies in what she remembered, what she reported, and things like that. But it's also doesn't discredit what happened, and it also kind of validates when we see this report. Some of the things that were said is validated in this report. Some of the things that we do know as the timeline was validated in this report. Some of the lies that have been told about every situation on both ends are validated in this report. So I think that some things can't be disputed, right? Like the medical examination reports that cannot be disputed, the DCFS reports that have been unfounded that can't be disputed, the examination and medical professional who said she had not been touched prior to a certain time frame. There's no disputing that stuff. So I think that there is some issues on both sides with stories, but also we see here that everything can't be recalled. Even the father said some stuff that was off the wall. Like there's all these things that's happening. I think people are doing to the best of their ability trying to recall what happened in the situation, and I think that's what happened with her. Just trying to recall what she remembers and what she knows to be true. But if you can pay attention to some of the key points, I think this article validates a lot of the things she said in Breakbeat Media, and she said on Tasha K. It does validate that.
So would you like to put a pin in it here and we can pick up tomorrow?
I
Because
do think we can, and I am free tomorrow. I think we should get like the bottom
what
half of
time
it is very, very telling, and
is crucial.
we need to, put that out there and really just let you guys see all the evidence pile up. Yes.
So what we'll do, I'm gonna talk about this. Simply Travel with Me said everyone responds to trauma differently, especially children who are SA.
Absolutely.
And she is a child care provider. Well, I want to say teacher.
Mhm.
And prior to that, Simply Travel with Me worked on a military installation, and we were speaking about a lot of military children being abused.
Yeah.
So she knows firsthand, but she also I guarantee you that when she got this document on Friday, it triggered a lot for her. I pray she gets in therapy immediately, and
Yeah.
it did. And Tawana can attest to that. But we're gonna put a pause in, and we're actually on page 16. So we will put a pause in it, and I promise you, we will get back with you all on tomorrow. What time we're gonna go live again?
Oh man, I'm free pretty much most of the day, so we can
Me
we can
too.
text Kimmy and get it together. We can come back if you want to do like a similar time as we did today, one or
No,
two.
let's go
So
earlier.
let's go earlier so we can get through it.
Well, you do have small children, so
Yeah, but tomorrow I should be more flexible in terms because I go live on
okay.
I usually go live on Sundays, so
Okay.
that's my
Okay.
day that's
Okay.
my day to work and do all my stuff. So
So
um yeah,
what I advise everybody is make sure if you're watching this from either platform, turn your notification bell on so you know when both of us go live. There will be Probably directly after here, we will put together another um video slot for tomorrow, and it should notify you. Also, I want to say in closing, um, if you see something, say something. And for those, there may be children watching this. If something is happening to you, keep telling, even if nobody ever believes you. Keep telling, tell your same story until you get justice. Because as you can see, and we're not even done, there were so many things that were, there were so many things not done right. You know, I mean, although the person who is investigating this, they are definitely dotting their I's and crossing their T's. And they are being really diligent in this investigation. I also want to state that a person, just because courts find an individual guilty, does not mean that's the way it is. There have been so many cases that have been overturned over the years, and so many people that have been incarcerated who are innocent, or people that are out who are guilty. So I just wanted to say that. Um, Shout out to Simply Traveling Me. She says, subscribe to Tawana G and hit the like button. Please do. If you are watching this, because we're going to get a lot of people watching this on the replay, a lot of my subscribers, follow her. This is not going to be the last time we go live together, because I like her vibe. I like her energy. She's super intelligent. I love it. So make sure you subscribe to her channel. Let's get her to 1,000 subscribers. And like this video. Make sure you comment whatever comments. If you're watching this on the replay game, put replay in the chat, and make sure you keep your comments respectful. I know Tawana feel the same way. Everybody got an opinion. Just be respectful. She said, I am including Chantel in my prayers.
Yes.
Absolutely. You got anything you want to say in closing?
I do. Thank you so much for just inviting me to have this conversation with you. I know me and you've been talking about this since we heard the Tasha K interview, and we have been pretty much putting out our support for, you know, Chantel and just for, you know, her family. So I want to make sure that you guys tune into our next one. We need to go over the entire 56-page what is the investigation before you guys make a solid decision on what happened, right? But I also want you to go back, watch some of our videos, watch, you know, Kimmy's video, so that you can kind of get context to what's going on. And we will be live tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much for supporting me, Kimmy. Thank you guys so much as well. And I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow.
And also, in closing, if you have yet to watch Chantel's interview on Breakbeat Media, go over. I will, once this video goes out, I will put it in the description box. If you're watching this on a replay, now I'll put it in the comment area and pin it. Okay. And I'm sure Tawana do the same thing.
Yeah, I'll do that too. Yes, for sure.
So make sure you go watch that. Go watch the 2-minute teaser on Unwind with Tasha K, so you can get some context to what's going on. And if there are any interviews on Unwind with Tasha K, go watch it, because you have to watch that.
Yes.
In order to understand this document. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Tawana. I really appreciate you, Queen.
Yes,
and shout out to my moderators. Shout out to Texas Represent, LMF. Who else was in here? There were some people. No Captivity, Texas Represent. I said that.
Freezy, no cap, Freezy.
Oh, yeah, real God. That's your people.
That's my people. They came over to support. Thank y'all to the gems that's coming over here. I call my people gems and jewels. Okay, they come over here. Thank you.
So thank y'all, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Let me clear the screen out. All right, let's get out here.
Let's get out.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. 'Cause you're just that subscribe.